Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of BLABBERBUTT, the show where I, Casey Katsaris, blabber with my butt. What I want to talk about today is something that now is a little bit old news, because now we're all talking about how Texas is a disaster and capitalism has once again caused widespread human suffering. But I still want to talk about this, which is Gina Carano. Getting fired off Star Wars, and really just cancel culture in general, because it's obviously a big popular topic. I know it's not over. We're going to be talking about cancel culture for a while. And in terms of specifically Gina Carano and the question of should she have been fired from Star Wars, my answer is yes, obviously. Yes, obviously. Gina Carano has a history of saying shitty things in public, be they transphobic or anti-Semitic or just plain stupid. And when you say that stuff a bunch in public, when you say things that you know are implying that the Holocaust, that what people experienced during the Holocaust is comparable to a conservative being criticized, it's too much. That's too much. You're a right-wing propagandist, and I really kind of have a zero tolerance for right-wing propagandists, or not really zero tolerance, because truly, if Gina Carano, if this was like a new isolated incident, if Gina Carano was generally just a chill person who had pretty good takes, like, you know, maybe said something dumb once in a while, but who cares? We all do. And then one day she got this idea in her head that conservatives were being treated like Jews during the Holocaust, and she tweeted a thing about that, and there was just this one time that like she got confused. I would not say to fire her from her job. I'd say, hey, look, you know, good faith. She misunderstood something. She was told a false fact, and she got confused and she said something dumb. I'm all for forgiveness in general, and if that were the case, but that's just not the case with Gina Carano. She's done this consistently. Her beliefs are clear. She's just another right-wing idiot who believes stupid right-wing bullshit. And I don't think there's anything good that comes out of having a person who believes shitty, toxic right-wing stuff have a massive platform, have a big gig on the biggest pop culture franchise in the world and history. Like, she's not entitled to that. That's what's so weird. Like, one of the weird things to me about people come rushing to someone like Gina Carano's defense. She's fine. She's a millionaire. She can fucking rip a dictionary in half. Like, she's fine. And then literally, yeah, of course, the next day after she's fired off Star Wars, here comes White Knight Ben Shapiro, swoops in to save her and offer her a deal to make her own movie. So, like, really think about people who are worried about Gina Carano getting fired and the precedent and stuff. Think about who you are taking your time and energy to defend. I don't know if she's a multi-millionaire, but she's got to at least be a millionaire from UFC and from her acting work. So you're defending a millionaire who already got another job, a better job. She's a producer now. She'll be the producer and the star of her next project. And you're like worried about this person? This is like a serious worry to you? With all the ways that human beings are suffering in the world and being exploited and mistreated, and all the potent, legitimate examples of injustice you could point to and complain about and draw awareness to and maybe even take action to help with, you choose fucking Gina Carano? It's insane. You're being insane. Your priorities are insane. Gina Carano does not need your help. Gina Carano could wrestle a bear. Gina Carano could buy 3 cars today for no reason. She's fine. Don't worry about her. That's number one. And also, an important little detail from looking at this from an industry perspective, I'm guessing a lot of people out there don't know this, but when you're an actor in a big fancy production like fucking Star Wars, it's very common that in your contract there will be a moral clause that requires you to present a certain, to be a certain way in public and not be horrible in a way that will reflect poorly on the company. Now, I have a lot of opinions about that whole world of forcing artists to become mascots to your company in order to work for you. There's a lot to discuss there. I'll probably do another video on that down the line. But right now, the fact is, there was probably a clause, pretty much definitely a clause in her contract working for Disney on Star Wars. So Gina Carano is not being canceled necessarily. Like, you can frame it that way if you want, but she's also just in breach of contract. And aren't right-wingers the ones who are obsessed with contracts and law and order and business and all this shit that has a lot of fucking problems, to say the least? But then, like, when a right-winger breaks their contract and gets fired for it, then they don't care. And you know, and obviously none of this is surprising. All right-wing pundits are either liars or idiots. Sorry, that's it. There's only two kinds of conservative pundits: disingenuous or stupid. And it's just insane. And to speak a little more on cancel culture, because I do think cancel culture is a nuanced issue. I personally know someone who was canceled by the Twitter mob, you know, for something they did years ago that was not even, they didn't really even do it. They just posted something weird and just text. They posted text that some people found off-putting. And so I definitely think there are prime examples of cancel culture. You know, or I think, more to be more specific, the Twitter mob, the mob of angry Twitter people, canceling people for shitty reasons. Another example is ContraPoints. I think the way that ContraPoints was treated by Twitter and the larger, you know, canceling community was awful and completely and utterly uncalled for. And so I don't want it to seem like I think cancel culture is a non-issue. But, you know, I keep doing this because I just think the whole phrase cancel culture is kind of dumb, because it's not really, or if it is, if cancel culture is a thing, then it's always been a thing. It's always been a thing in human society that if someone who has a lot of attention on them for whatever reason says something that runs counter to most people's opinions, especially if it's an opinion that can get people hurt, that then often the masses will get mad and will want that person to be removed from their position, denied their platform, or disempowered in any other number of ways. This is not new. You know, fucking Paul Rubens back in the 90s got canceled for jerking off in a porno theater, you know, and then he worked his way, and that was like insane. Like, that was terrible. And most people back then were like, yeah, a pervert, because Americans are puritanical idiots. Anyway, so it's not a new thing. I think is the most important thing. Like, people are like, oh, this cancel culture that's risen up. What's risen up is just people's being fed up with shit. That's all. It's not some new culture. It's just that the majority of Americans, I think, are very sick and tired of shitty people doing whatever shitty stuff they want, saying whatever shitty stuff they want, and never facing any fucking consequences for their shittiness. That's all. People just want to see consequences. And the fact is, every single big celebrity who's been canceled is still rich, and most of them are still working. What is canceling? Like, you can't be on the mainstream network. Like, there is no clear definition of what canceling even is. And always, corporations have always been quick to dump controversial people. That is not new, and I think is worthy of criticism. But not in the case of Gina Carano, because the other thing with Gina Carano is also everyone who works on The Mandalorian besides Gina Carano is a liberal or a leftist. They all are. Like, Pedro Pascal just came out celebrating his trans sister. John Favreau has been a liberal forever. I can only assume all these people were just so bummed out to have to work with Gina Carano. If you really think that it was this one thing that had them fire her, You're wrong. There was definitely it was obviously a straw that broke the camel's back situation, and I imagine a lot of people on the production wanted her out for a very long time. And then when she was stupid enough to say anti-Semitic shit on her Instagram, well, all those people who already wanted her out saw their opportunity and they seized it and they got her the fuck out. And I'm sure next season they're all going to be happier all around the production to not have a right-wing dum-dum marching around saying who knows what kind of stupid, ignorant shit on a regular basis. So yeah, I really don't think there's any good reason to not fire Gina Carano. And I will say some people have brought up the point, including some friends of mine, that, well, like people on the left tend to make unfair comparisons to the Holocaust as well. And I agree, like you might often see a leftist share some meme, like with a picture of this meme that's gone around a lot where it's like people in a concentration camp, Jews in a concentration camp during the Holocaust, and then right next to it, the kids in the concentration camps at the border right now in America, at the Mexican border. So that, I think that meme is stupid. It's extremist because while the concentration camps at the American border are heinous, and it is absolutely disgusting to keep children locked up and with fucking Mylar blankets and also just like pop into the cage to sexually molest them every once in a while. That's fucked up. That's very fucked up and horrible and disgusting. And sadly, it's not as bad as Jewish people were treated during the Holocaust. That's just a testament to how fucking horrible the Holocaust was, that even something of the modern day, as horrible as concentration camps at the border where children are sexually molested, it's still not quite as horrible as the Holocaust concentration camps because they're so fucking terrible. But the fact is, it's all horrible. And I think the big distinction between a lefty saying, oh, the concentration camps at the border are just like the Holocaust, and what Gina Carano did is that there's a big difference between someone being concerned that somebody else might be being treated like Jewish people were treated during the Holocaust versus going on social media to whine that, oh, I'm being treated the way Jewish people were during the Holocaust. It's just like the Holocaust for me. Like, that's very, very different because one person is worried about other people and like made a mistake of accuracy, like was a little extreme in their concern, but ultimately it was a concern, a legitimate concern for other human beings who are in legitimate danger. Whereas Gina Carano's bullshit was a completely illegitimate concern entirely for herself. A millionaire muscle machine who just does not have any real problems at all. Like, if you like, I can't believe it. I can't believe anyone's worried about Gina Carano. She's fine. She's so fucking okay. Oh, but back to cancel culture. It often does horrible things, like I gave examples, ContraPoints, etc. But the thing is, let's be specific. The Twitter mob, because they're really, it's this group of people on Twitter who attack, every time anyone says anything that could be even construed as mildly problematic. These extremists, they're the cancelers, right? And as far as those extremist people, they're definitely assholes. I definitely think that knee-jerk bullying behavior is shitty. And at the same time, they also, well, for one thing, they also take down guys like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby. So you cannot deny that, like, all of the politically correct diplomacy and shit in the world did not take down Harvey Weinstein and did not take down Bill Cosby. What took them down was being called out in public, and that call out getting around to a lot of people and getting reported by mainstream media to the point that the legal system had to take action. So you can't deny that at least a portion of cancel culture is very effective in holding accountable those who have never been held accountable. So there's that. And also it's just, it's very strange to me. Like, I just read this piece by Chris Hedges that I saw a friend post, lamenting cancel culture. And in it, he goes on at length about how we should have compassion for the KKK, and like understand where they're coming from, and that they're human beings too, and that so many of them were poor illiterate farmers who didn't know any better, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that a lot of these points are fair to an extent. That, yeah, I'm all for empathize with everyone. Be compassionate to all people. Consider where people are coming from. Listen to people. Ask questions. Yeah, just empathy. Just, of course, always like there's, if any human being is acting any way, there is a story behind how they got there. Like, all human beings are pretty much products of their circumstance. So I'm all for putting focus on that and discussing those ideas. And at the same time, and this is where the nuance comes in, I don't think it's that big a problem because, as I mentioned, the people who are canceled aren't even really canceled. Like, I think the worst thing that happens to people in those situations is the harassment, is that they're just inundated with messages and tweets and whatever, emails from people just like fucking shitting all over them, telling them to kill themselves. All that stuff is fucking awful. That's the really horrible stuff that happens. And I don't want to discount any of that or disappear it, pretend it's not there, because it is. And that's horrible. And I've never had to go through it, so I don't know what it's like. I can only imagine how fucking horrible that is from listening to the stories from my friend who experienced it, from ContraPoints, what she shared online, etc. So I do not condone any of that. Stop fucking harassing people and telling them to kill themselves, Twitter mob. Please. You're not helping your cause and you're not helping anybody else. And I think that when someone looks at the rise of right-wing fascism and the rise of perhaps uncouth criticism, or, fine, that's too friendly. Harassing criticism of the KKK. I think if you're really practicing true empathy, you should be more understanding of the people who are being shitty in their criticism than the people who are literal KKK members. like I'm all for empathy, but there's this weird thing that happens with guys like Chris Hedges in that article and other people too, where like they have so much empathy for the KKK and seemingly zero empathy for the cancelers on Twitter. And, they're humans too, who are also products of their circumstances, who also have stories that brought them to the point where they feel the need to send, suicide invitations to people they've never met. But the fact is that a lot of it is just a reaction to the KKK. The KKK is the problem, Nazis are the problem. And there's another guy that someone brought up to me the other day. Viktor Frankl, I think is the name. And if I didn't get it right, well, that's Blabberbutt. I'll make mistakes. I think it's Viktor Frankl was a Jewish person who befriended Nazis and converted them. And also someone who I know a lot more about, Daryl Davis, is also someone who is frequently cited in these discussions of cancel culture. And if you don't know who Daryl Davis is a man who is black, and he has, over the years, befriended a great many KKK members, even like leaders, like grand wizards and all their silly terms. And he befriends them, and he's so friendly to them for such an extended period of time that they actually give up being a KKK member, because they go, wait a second, here's a black man. He's been very friendly to me and very reasonable, and he listens to what I have to say, and he responds respectfully, and like, maybe I've been wrong about all this hating black people, and oh my God, and they have an epiphany, and they burn their robes, and it's wonderful. I'm a big fan of Daryl Davis. I think the work he does is really amazing and courageous. And based on the fact that there are a good number of people who used to be KKK and now are not KKK, thanks to Daryl's influence, clearly his method is undeniably effective, right? And beautiful. What a beautiful thing to look past someone's hate and love them into submission. I think that's a really profound and in and of itself wonderful thing. And I find that in discussions of cancel culture, often Daryl Davis will be cited, or Viktor Frankl, or someone else like that. They'll be cited in a very prescriptive manner. Like someone will be saying, like I just had a conversation with someone a couple days ago, where they're saying, yeah, like they want to, like, what about Daryl Davis? And Daryl Davis befriends and blah blah blah. And like, first of all, with the Daryl Davis method, I think the first important thing to look at is that the Daryl Davis method is limited in the sense that you have to be black to do it. Like, I can go befriend a KKK member, and I can be super friendly to him and have a beer with him and listen to all the stupid, terrible nonsense he believes. And present counterpoints in a very respectful, diplomatic manner, and take my time and feel it out, and and do all the things that Daryl Davis does, right? I could do all those things, befriending a KKK member, and while I think I might shift their perspective a little bit, I might introduce them to some new concepts that could perhaps maybe put some cracks in the foundation of their hate, maybe. But because I'm a white man, one thing I can never do is literally be living proof for the stupid absurdity of a KKK member's beliefs. Only a black person can be that living proof. So if you're a white person, and there's a discussion of cancel culture and whatever, and you say like, oh, people should be more like Daryl Davis, there is a danger, like I get how it can be coming from, a sincere place of like, you just think people should try more peaceful methods and communicate and listen and show compassion. I love all that. All that's fucking great. And there is this danger of tacitly implying that the problem with the world today is that black people aren't friendly enough to the KKK, or that Jewish people aren't friendly enough to Nazis. And I assure you, that is not the problem in the world today. The problem is Nazis. The problem is the KKK. And again, I'm all for empathy, compassion, consider where they're coming from, endeavor to understand everyone as human beings, and to never dehumanize anyone. That's another thing, like Chris Hedges in his article went on and on about, like, we can't dehumanize these people. And I 100% agree with that. Do not dehumanize Nazis. Nazis are humans. Dehumanizing humans is what Nazis do. Don't do that. All right, it'll blind you, it'll confuse you, it'll make you start seeing them as boogeymen and monsters, and they're not. They're deeply confused human beings who have been infected with a virus, an intellectual virus called hate. Okay, so yes, have sympathy for them, but also acknowledge that you can't really forgive people until they stop doing the horrible thing they do. Like, if you want to encourage peace, you should be encouraging hateful KKK members and Nazis to come to their senses. And now I know a lot of people will make the argument that, like, similar to the argument I made in my What to Do with Republicans video, that it's just pragmatic of like, what chance do you have to convince a Nazi to change their mind, versus if you talk to like a liberal who maybe is being a bit extreme or a bit aggressive or bullyish in their approach. Like, probably easier to convince a liberal to dial it back a few notches than to convince a Nazi to not hate Jewish people or gay people, all the people they hate. So I get that argument. And at the same time, it's just very strange to me. Like again, if you really want to, if you're all about empathy, you should have empathy for everyone, the KKK people, the Nazis, and the people criticizing them. And it's just like, to me, like, I imagine when I see, read one of those articles like what Chris Hedges wrote, or I see other people talking about cancel culture in a similar way, I imagine like someone seeing like a skinhead beating the shit out of a black person and looking at that and being like, oh, oh, how sad that that person would get to a point where they would beat someone else to death. Oh, how poor they must have been and how poorly educated. It's like, you're not wrong, but someone's being beaten to death. Could you help the person being beaten to death instead of taking your time and energy to empathize with the aggressor? It's so... like, I can't help but think that if you look at fucking the KKK and you look at people criticizing the KKK and your conclusion is that the people criticizing the KKK are the ones who need to be criticized the most, maybe you're just racist. Maybe you're just racist. And not like hate racist, not like I want to kill black people racist, but just in that way where like you just have a little more forgiveness and a little more understanding for white people than you do for anyone else. Because it's how it seems in the way you're talking about these issues. And that's just the thing. It's like, because this is what I see consistently with the people I know who are posting about cancel culture and the dangers of cancel culture on a regular basis. I never see them post anything about rising fascism around the world or police violence or any of these other things that are so obviously such huger problems for the world. Why are you so obsessed with cancel culture? You know, it's weird. Like, again, addressing it is one thing. Of course, address it, acknowledge it, criticize the methodology of the Twitter cancel mob. Definitely. But don't like make a huge deal out of it. Don't blow it up into something that is like the biggest problem right now. And like, oh, if it's again, it's that thing of like, oh, if like black people were just friendlier or Jewish people were just friendlier, everything would be okay. No. When you see a skinhead beating the shit out of someone, be it individuals or on the grand scale that it's currently happening in the world with fascism and all oppressed groups, you don't, the solution is not to sit there and empathize with the person attacking someone. Help the person who's being attacked. And I feel like, honestly, like if Chris Hedges were watching that exchange take place, the skinhead beating the shit out of a black person, and he's like sitting there going, oh, imagine who the skinhead came from. And then if I came over and I like kicked the skinhead off of the black person and like punched him in the gut and said, what the fuck are you doing, you skinhead fucking asshole? That Chris Hedges would turn to me and then be like, oh, how rude of you. What a bully you are. And I don't know that for sure, but that's what it feels like to me when I read that people write shit like this. Like, your priorities are very fucked up, is my perspective. You're not looking at things clearly. And here's the thing too. I relate in that after Donald Trump was elected, I had very similar thoughts because I'm one of those idiots who thought that Donald Trump could never get elected. And so then when he was, I was like, holy fuck, what do I know about anything political if I was so wrong about that? And I went through a period where I looked a lot at like how, you know, how Democrats did contribute and liberals contributed to the rise of Trump. And a phrase that I would say a lot back then when I was thinking about these things, and that I still agree with, is that President Donald Trump was a product of Republican ignorance and Democrat arrogance. So I still think that's true of like Democrats, neoliberals especially, can be super arrogant, super condescending and elitist and turn off so many Americans. Rightfully so. So like that, I get that dynamic. And I did start to ask like, how much of this is these hateful people and how much is just that they have no path to redemption, right? Which I think is also a good question. Like for me, the path to redemption is stop being a Republican and then come hang out. Like that's like, I think most lefties, I think that's all they want is for people to renounce their shitty beliefs. And if you hang on to your shitty beliefs, then no, you don't get forgiven. That doesn't seem unfair to me. If you want forgiveness, you have to demonstrate that you even understand what you fucking did. And Republicans demonstrate every day that they do not understand anything they do ever. So how the fuck do we forgive these people? The onus is on right-wingers to have an epiphany, not on left-wingers to provoke that epiphany. And at the same time, I am all for doing whatever we can to provoke that epiphany, because right-wingers having an epiphany and realizing everything they've ever believed was stupid and wrong is good for everybody. So yes, let's put energy into that too. Just don't pretend like it's the biggest problem in the world, A, and also don't pretend like people, getting mad at or criticizing or even making fun of shitty right-wingers is somehow just as hateful as the hate that Nazis and KKK members have. It's not. Saying that a Nazi is a fucking piece of shit, it's not loving, no, and it probably would be accurately categorized as hateful. But is it anywhere near as hateful as what the Nazi thinks and does? No, nowhere near. It's not even remotely comparable. So there is no final right answer of like, is cancel culture a problem or isn't it? It's a kind of problem to an extent. It's not as much of a problem as the people who are very upset and worried about it make it out to be. That is my nuanced perspective on it at the moment. And maybe my mind will change. Maybe there's evidence I'm missing. Again, if you want to feedback, tell me, hey, you're wrong. What about this example of cancel culture? Let's talk about it. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I don't understand something. And right now, that's how I feel. Cancel culture, problem, not really a big problem. And weirdly emphasized by a lot of people who I feel like must be at least a little racist to even engage in such emphasizing. That's it about cancel culture right now. Gina Carano, please change your mind. Just all you have to do is stop believing stupid shit, and most people will like you, and you could get whatever job you want. That's the thing. Like, Gina Carano's gonna be so fine. Oh my, she's just fine. Her whole life is fine. Don't worry about her. Do not worry about Gina Carano. She's fine. Worry about kids in cages and shit and people being bombed to death. Oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching another bit of my blabbering from my butt. And I'll see you next time on BLABBERBUTT. Bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye.